We're going to talk about Django Reinhardt. His given name at birth was Jean. However, because he was Romani, gypsy, his nickname was Django, and that was the name that stuck. He was pretty much a self-taught musician. He did not read music very well, but impeccable ear and impeccable taste, and knew all of the styles that were popular and prevalent among the Romani gypsy culture. As time went on, he gravitated toward this new music that he was hearing called jazz. And later, after he had made France his home, he had the Quartet, the Hot Jazz de France. That is the Hot Jazz Quintet of France. They were stationed at a club, and everyone came to hear them, and it was a unique offering because it was one of the very first groups to use the guitar in a lead role. Guitars were always just relegated to rhythm roles. His partnership with Stéphane Grappelli is legendary. Stéphane Grappelli was a violinist, and they spent a lot of time touring and recording together. And they were touring all over Europe, as a matter of fact, and were caught touring United Kingdom when the war broke out. Django decided that he would return to France for reasons I will never understand, because as we know, the Nazis did occupy France eventually. But he did leave his wife and his good friend Stéphane Grappelli in the UK just to make sure they were safe. I guess he was a little bit more of a daredevil. Unfortunately, when the Nazis took over and he was found to be Romani, a gypsy, he was, how shall we say this, marginalized, let's put it lightly, prejudiced. He was forced to wear certain brown clothing to make his cultural heritage more visible and recognizable to the Nazis, and he was held in disrepute. He did not read music, so he did not get to perform in some of the more polite musical ensembles that the Nazis would have preferred, but he did very slowly start to teach himself to read music out of necessity. Thank God he did survive the war and was reunited with Stéphane Grappelli and his longtime girlfriend, who was also a musician. She played the, quote, banjo guitar, to figure out what that one is. And they did have a son. So that did end, that story did have a happy ending. They did reunite, and they did consummate their relationship, and also had a son. And he and Stéphane continued to play. Django was visited after war by many touring American musicians, including Coleman Hawkins and Chu Berry, and he made recordings with all of them. At one point, he was actually on tour with the Duke Ellington Orchestra. Somehow, before the war, Benny Goodman had made an offer to him, and after the war, Goodman felt obligated to maintain that offer But Django had second thoughts about it, and he never did come to the United States for that tour. He remained in France, so he toured with Ellington, but not with Benny Goodman. It has been said that there are no guitarists, jazz, rock, you name it, there are no guitarists that do not owe a debt of gratitude to Django Reinhardt. He set the standard for guitar playing in popular music setting for all time. Wes Montgomery and everybody else borrowed from Django Reinhardt. They listened to the recordings, they loved those recordings, and they took what they could to enhance their own musical journeys. Django died at age 49 suddenly of a stroke, and that ended the career of one of the most important, if not the single most important European jazz musician of all time. Let us not forget the legacy and contributions of the amazing gypsy guitarist, jazz guitarist, musician, world traveler, Mr. Django Reinhardt. Thank you.